Hey, this is Shane. Thanks for tuning in. Stick around to the end of the episode to hear how you can win a free digital dice set.
Hello, human civilization. I'm Shreya.
March.
Kaldur.
Flynn.
Oma.
And I'm your DM, Ethan. Welcome to Venture Forth. Previously, you all had left the city of Addersfeld and traveled towards the nation of Kaldur, hoping to find the origins of these crystals that you guys now hold. Moving along the river, you guys were headed down towards Coldcrest Outpost that you guys had discovered a battle had broken out. Most of the soldiers at Coldcrest Outpost had traveled north a couple days previous in order to take care of a conflict up there. So the outpost was in dire need of soldiers, and a surprise attack from Kaldur ensued. You guys approached in what seemed to be the middle of this battle, and instead of going around the battle and continuing your mission, you guys had decided to dock the boat and help out the side of Ondale. Kalik had quickly discovered sort of what the situation was and what was needed, and after Flynn discovered a couple bags of explosives, you guys entered the fray, taking part in this combat and attempting to hold this post. Flynn had bravely ran out into the middle of the beach, hucked one of these bags of explosives up onto the bow of the ship, and with some assistance from Shreya, with a massive gust of wind pointing the boat in the other direction and pushing it back, this explosive went off and destroyed nearly half of this ship. The rest of you guys are sort of still in combat here and there with some of the drow that have made their way onto the shore, but for the most part, the entire ship and the crew and the soldiers on board are sinking. Shreya, notably, is still inside the ship as it is going down, looking for goodies and anything that he can find of value in there. So, with that, as the ship is going down, these dwarves that are on the beach itself, all of them have taken a substantial amount of damage, and really their only fighting spirit was knowing that the main force of their brethren was quickly coming behind them. But with that explosion, they notice that those soldiers are not coming down the ramp. They are not coming to the beach. And immediately, seeing this, drop their weapons and fall to their knees and begin sort of clutching their injuries, now sort of taking note of the situation around them. As you can see the boat going down, now the ship beginning to sink more and more. Shreya, would you like to fly out from the rear of the ship as sort of the water level is coming up and meeting your feet?
Absolutely. I am going to exit through the window I came in and take off back into the air.
Okay. So you take off back into the air, and the top deck of the ship finally sinks down underneath the water. As it sinks down, you can see every once in a while a head pop up from the water, a dwarven head of those who have survived this explosion. And as you can see them popping up every once in a while, you can note that they're swimming pretty comfortably. It looks like most of them have taken off their heavy armor in order to actually keep themselves afloat here. And as they make their way towards the shore, the Ondale soldiers have also made their way towards the water and are now holding bows and swords towards them as the dwarves that are coming out of the water immediately surrender, having no weapons anymore, not having their armor anymore. And the army of Ondale begins taking these dwarves captive. So, as you guys are sort of meeting back on this beach, seeing the captives being taken in and the situation being de-escalated, we are no longer in combat. What would you guys like to do?
Are the two, they were dwarves, correct?
Yes.
Are there still the two dwarves directly in front of Flynn and myself?
Yes, but both of them have dropped their weapons and dropped to their knees in surrender. You had beaten quite a bit out of them, so they know with their forces not coming onto the beach anymore, they cannot hold you back.
Okay, and then there were those 2 soldiers that were over by us as well, if I recall, that were close to Flynn and myself. Okay, then I'm going to just look at those 2 soldiers and say, this one's pretty severely injured, but if you guys can go ahead and, do what you got to do with these 2 in terms of taking them. And then I'm going to kind of just turn to Flynn and try and back away a little bit from the dwarves and just kind of, that was awesome.
It was
and
cool.
I am so sorry to sound weird, but I'm really proud of you. You did such an epic job. That was cool. Also, I would like to get rid of this other explosive now if we now know that it's going to, potentially cause a massive explosion.
Thank you. I thought it was pretty awesome too, and I hold my hands out. I'll take it back to the group. I'll return it.
Yeah, I don't know where you got him. But please, I think you got him up there from one of the spellcasters, and I'm going to go ahead and move it in now a little bit more of a previously I'd just been whoop whoop slapping over my back not even, and now I'm a little bit more gently going to hand that over to Flynn.
And when you hand it over, I'll just whoop, whoop, and I'll just throw it on my shoulder really easily, nonchalantly, I don't care. And then I'm gonna head on off to where I got him from, and I'll kind of walk
I'm going to follow him as he does that. Maybe 5-10 feet behind, just slightly ever a little bit let's hope that thing doesn't go off while it's on Flynn's back.
It'll be fine, March. Don't worry about it.
Cool.
And I'll walk up to the soldiers that had the pile of them, and I'm kind of looking. Do I notice when I get up to that top? Do I notice where the rest of my party is over near the fire? Can I see them? I'm looking to reconvene. As I'm walking up, do I notice where they are?
Yeah, you can see Kellic and Olma over there. Just pulled this guy out of the fire.
So as I walk up, I notice where the rest of my party is. I'll look over to the soldiers, and I'll just nonchalantly just kind of take off the satchel on my shoulder and just, here you go, drop it down. It only took 1, and I just start walking towards my party.
Okay.
As I'm gonna walk by the soldiers, as he walks by, I'm gonna walk by the soldiers and just shrug my shoulders, be he knows what's up, and then just follow Flynn.
Oh, and I grab my bag and everything too, my satchel that I kind of left. I'll put that back on and head over.
Okay. Flynn and March, you guys walk up to Kellic and Olma. Shreya, you can choose to fly over there as well if you'd like.
Yeah, I'm going to see them gathering on the upper shelf of the cliff top there, and I'm going to fly over and, greet them as well.
You are now all together up on the top of this cliff.
Guys, I blew up a ship.
I'm, cleaning this guy's the ashes off the soot off of him and searching for breakages, abrasions, anywhere that I need to just put a salve on and help this guy out. Well done, Flynn. And I just continue.
Kellic, when we're done here, there's 2 more. The 2 of the spellcasters earlier got hit by a cannon.
Are they still breathing, Olma?
I don't know. I was dealing with trying to get him out.
Can I see if she's gesturing, DM? Can I see where these people are?
Yeah, they're both prone on the ground. You would probably have to go over and assess them better if you wanted to see.
All right. I will hand Olma what I'm using to clean this guy and just direct her where. The first and most important thing is to keep these things clean so that they don't get infected, right? That's the worst thing that can happen.
Okay, right? I can do it.
Be gentle, all right? But thorough.
Yes.
I will hustle over to these bodies to see if I can bring anybody back from the brink.
Okay. They're both unconscious, and they are pretty close to checking out.
I'm going to just stabilize them. I'm going to wave my hand like a wand over their bodies and just sprinkle little bits of dust that just appear basically out of thin air. And that sort of knits itself together on top of their skin and just sort of seeps into them like snowflakes melting and just kind of bolstering their life force, like giving them a sort of flat line that they can sit upon.
Okay.
And see if there's any like urgent wounds between the two of them.
Nothing urgent. It seems like from what you've done to get them stable, it seems like they can probably recover from that. It was a pretty massive blast from a cannonball. So there's it's just like a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah. I'm gonna see if I can spot Jarnan down the hill and just give him a look of like, yep, more of this to be done. Like, and I will just like be busily quickly like cleaning wounds, dressing wounds, checking reflexes, those kinds of things, making sure they are able still.
Okay. So you get to work doing that. What would the rest of you guys like to do?
I look over to Flynn and I say,
Yes, well done. Well done, little one. We took a chunk out of that boat, didn't we? Well, you did primarily.
And then I look over to March and I say,
March, come here for a second. I might have something that you might be interested in.
I'm gonna shimmy over, and as I start to walk, I recall that I got a little bit of a slash in my back, like sort of try and shake that off. And forgot, I didn't realize such a small creature could do that kind of damage.
What was that?
Anyways, not you can do that kind of damage because you did blow up a boat, so I apologize for that. But that guy slashed me in my back, and I totally forgot about it until this moment. And I'm gonna kind of turn to Flynn like, did he ruin my jacket?
I'll take a look. DM, is her jacket ruined?
No, really, not much.
No, it's totally fine. If anything, it gives a character. It looks cool.
Cool. That's all that matters. Just want to make sure. And I'm gonna kind of go over to Shrine. Yeah, what's up? In addition to Flynn also being suicidal, really quick, Shrine, are you suicidal for flying into a ship that is starting to sink?
Well, to be fair, the explosion hadn't gone off when I first boarded it. Although I did know something was coming, I didn't quite realize how large that explosion was going to be.
Okay. Well, that was a little nerve-wracking for a second there, but what's up?
I found something on board the ship.
and I pull out the warhammer that I found there. And then I say,
I have no use for it myself, but perhaps someone with your type of knowledge of these weapons could do something with it.
DM, am I able to, like, my eyes are going to get wide and be like, kind of a little bit of a moment, like another warhammer. DM, am I able to determine if this warhammer is cooler or better or just more badass than the one I'm currently possessing?
I'm going to have you make an Arcana check.
What?
Okay. I don't know if I've ever made an Arcana check in my entire life. But what I do, that is a 12.
12. You don't know exactly what it does at this moment of Shreya having it, but you know that it has some sort of magical property to it.
Ooh.
You look at it and it's very clearly Dwarven make. Very like Dwarven iconography and Dwarven symbols all inlaid throughout the handle, and a very sturdy and well-crafted hammer bit to it.
Would I be able to carry both of them?
You would probably be able to carry both of them. Using both of them at the same time would be difficult. Next to impossible.
Right. I just want to... okay, so since I can't really determine, like, I can tell that it's really, really cool, I'm going to look at Shreya and be like, I don't necessarily know much about this one, but it does look really intriguing. Is it all right if I carry this?
There's only one thing I would ask in return, and it's perhaps for if you'd be willing to part with a few of your handcrafted javelins.
that can be arranged. And I'm going to instinctually pull out the one that I pulled out of the door. Which I imagine by now, like, the blood is starting to crest and be like, here's one. Did you want a second? Did you want a second? That was just inside of a door, by the way. I was really, really proud of myself. I actually managed to save this one.
I would imagine a few might be in order for this. I would like 4, if that's all right.
4? God, Shreya, can I give you 3 and I can at least hold on to 2?
Yes, all right. It's not quite fair, but
Okay.
I like you, and I think you could use this effectively, so yes.
Okay, all right. If you need another javelin, cool. It's just sometimes, they're far away, and it's like we're traveling together and hanging out with anyway. If I need more javelins, you need more javelins. We're all here, right? Just sure. Hang out,
Yes. Right? I have my own crafty way of making them as well. Just haven't had the time to since we've joined this party together. Thank you.
And I hand her the warhammer and say,
use it well.
And I'm gonna look at it and go, ooh, like very like just so like it's so pretty.
Okay.
And kind of like
March,
saunter off to a corner and stare at it.
As you are staring at it, you begin to realize sort of what it does, and you sort of have a better understanding of what it is. And I will give you exactly what that hammer is. You can choose to tell people about it or keep it a secret, whichever you choose. But that
I love it already.
That warhammer is now yours.
Cool. I'm going to be just so enthralled with it that right off the bat I'm not going to say anything out loud because I'm still calculating what it is in my head.
Is Kalek still nearby? Or has he rushed off to?
Yeah, he's sort of around, just helping out here.
Kalek, a word.
Yes, Shreya, what can I do for you?
Where are the superiors of this outpost?
I look over. Is Vash still where he was, or what is he up to?
Yeah, so now he's sort of gone down the hill a little bit closer to the beach area, and is sort of directing where to bring prisoners.
Vash is the commander here. I don't know, what do you hope to accomplish, Shreya?
I would like a word with him. I think I may have something that could be useful to him.
What?
Is Kalek still actively in a healing process, or could I have enough time to show him the other things I found on the ship?
I've come over to you from where.
Oh, he's come over.
I'm just standing before you.
And I show him. I kind of take I don't take them all the way out of my bag, but I open my bag enough to reveal that there are a lot of scrolls and documents and a tome in there or whatever I found, and then I close the bag and I say,
I don't know much about the ways and means that communications are conducted amongst earth-faring folk. I do know what it means to hide something away and not want it to be found. I believe that I might be able to help these be found by someone who might want to find them.
DM, can I make out what this is actually?
Yeah, make intelligence, just straight intelligence.
That is a 13.
13. Looks like documents from Kaldur. Not exactly sure what they are, but some sort of military documents from Kaldur.
Can I peruse them if I take a moment?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, if you want to take a moment. Yeah, so there are a couple of maps on there outlining troop movement. There are a couple of communication letters back and forth between the commander here as well as an operating base further beyond the Kaldurian lines. And then, just like general troop movements, strategy.
Can I
things of that
suss
nature.
out what the keystone goal is of this particular set of correspondence? I guess what their central idea is.
Yeah. So the general idea was so in the days previous, when most of the soldiers had gone up north, you see that there is documentation of soldiers of Kaldur were planning to cross the river in between the outpost of North Shield and Cold Crest, sort of in that Shadow Timberland area, make their presence very well known there to force troops north from Cold Crest. And then once that happened, just to occupy them there for long enough for this force to then come in, take Cold Crest, and have a secure foothold in this kind of pivotal area, as this is a straight shot to Addersfeld.
I mean, yeah, I think Vash would want to see this, right?
One more question. What are the resources like of the armies of, what you said, Ondale? Would they have anything in their military budget to buy this information from me?
I didn't know you were concerned with commercial wealth, Shreya. Seems unlike you.
Well, I spent most of the gold I had finding components for the ways that I can commune with nature and be effective in, for example, the way I just was in helping destroy that ship.
Say no more.
So,
You gotta eat to live.
Yeah.
I look over at Vash, who's almost definitely shouting. It's kind of his MO.
Of course.
I say, if you want to try to sell that man something, he'd be my guest, Shreya, but wouldn't advise it. Unless you're looking for a fight.
Oh, he's the type that just takes what he wants.
At the expense of whoever's lives he deems necessary.
Well, give it my best try.
And I start to walk over to him.
Good luck.
Oh, boy.
As you walk up, you see him barking orders at soldiers left and right. Hey, bring those two over here. No, those two look important. Bring them. No, yeah, get them all tied up, and then bring them over here. And you approach him.
Are you the one they call Vash?
Yeah. Commander, if you'd be so kind.
Commander Vash of the armies of Ondale. You represent Ondale. Very nice country. I've never been too deep into it myself, but I've heard good things.
And
No, not those two, you idiots. The other two. Yes. Yeah. The one with the long hair. Yeah, bring them over here. I'm sorry. What can I do for you?
So I'm going to say to him,
I have something that could be very valuable to the war effort. And for the right price, I might be able to extend that your way.
and I'm going to attempt to persuade him with this.
Okay. What specifically are you trying to persuade him of? That you have something
I'm
that
trying
he wants?
to persuade him that it's in his best interest to respect a price. That the price is something that is set in stone. Or the presence.
Make a persuasion check.
All right. That is an 11.
well, if you got something that'll help out with the war and, keep people from dying, then I would suggest you just hand it over.
I would, but I have no stake in what happens between the warring elements of this world. It might be advised that you value it as greatly as you would value the lives of your soldiers. And I'm gonna attempt...
If I hear this, I'm giving a hard,
so
thumb across my throat.
And with that, there's a slight. Both of my hands touch the staff, and I take a couple feathers from myself, and coat them with the crystal, and the crystal starts to glow. And a little pop of air just kind of rushes out from me ever so slightly as I cast Enhance Ability on myself, specifically Eagle's Splendor. And I'm going to give myself advantage on another persuasion check if I need to do that.
Okay. Well, I don't even know what you have to offer. So if you would be so kind as to let me go back to my job, I would very much appreciate it.
Are you sure that you wouldn't want to look at this?
And I unfurl one of the battle plans.
His attention immediately goes completely towards you. He has lost interest in everything else that he's been doing. I would be very much interested in something of that nature. And you would be very interested in handing it over so that I can use it to help people.
40 gold pieces, firm.
Make a persuasion check.
This is an advantage.
Eagle's Splendor, how splendorific are you?
Yeah, let's see.
Oh, boy.
All right. Oh, that's a 19.
Hey.
19. I'd be able to part with 40 gold for that. Yeah, sure.
I'm glad you can see reason in that case.
And let's make the exchange.
Okay.
No way.
And he calls down one of the half-elves from on top of the hill, and he sort of runs down, and they exchange some words. The half-elf grabs a couple of gold from his pouch, puts it into another small little bag, tosses it over to you, and you can now add 40 gold to your inventory.
This is the haggling equivalent of Flynn running out in front of a barrage of cannons.
Oh, boy.
Pleasure doing business with you. Now, I would also like to, now that we have a good footing here in our relationship, I would also like to extend an offer for you to come on board with us. I saw what you were doing, and we could really use someone of your skill set in what we're doing here.
I am flattered. Though I have other business to attend to in other corners of this world. I hope the information I've provided helps you turn the tide.
And I sort of splendiferously, whoosh myself directly back with my wings, and leave the conversation.
Okay. He immediately, he stops directing the prisoners, and he immediately walks back with the half-elf that had come down, and they begin poring over these documents.
I have a question.
Yes.
Shreya, did you keep the wax seal stamp, or did you give that to them? Or did you just give them the documents?
That. Yeah, the troop movements, the battle plans, I don't know if I would have given them the ship's log if that has bearing. I might have handed that over as well.
Okay, but we have.
So are you just for my notes? Are you keeping the ship's log, or are you handing it over?
I'm gonna keep the ship's log.
Okay.
And we're also keeping the wax seal. Yeah. Cool. That could come in handy.
Okay. So, you guys have all sort of come back together after Kalik. You can see that now Jarnan has sort of taken over. He can start bringing people back. He's got a couple stretchers out, and he's got just some of the people who haven't been injured helping him bring back people to the camp, so where he has more of his equipment. And you can see people are beginning to disperse. You can see that the dwarves are now being led back towards Coldcrest, the main camp itself. And you guys are sort of left there to your own devices. So what would you guys like to do?
The guy I saved, I would have probably talked to him while I was helping him. I just want to know a little bit about him.
Yeah, sure.
So I would have, while I was like cleaning up his wounds, if he said ow or anything, I would have said, stop being a baby.
Yeah, he, every once in a while, he'd,
It's okay. Stop being a baby. You're alive. It's good to feel things. I think I'm doing this right.
This kind of stuff it sucks. I mean, I won't lie.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah, I've had some wounds like this, and it's not fun, but it's gonna heal better. So it's really worth it. What's your name?
My name is Orn.
One more time.
Orn. O-R-N-E.
Hi, Orn. I'm Ulma.
Hi, Ulma.
Have you been in the military long?
Oh, it's been about 2 years.
2 years. Why'd you join the military?
Well, I felt like I had to, help. There wasn't really much that I could do back home. And, everyone back home was always talking about how scared they were and, how the war, was really impacting people. And so I thought that this would probably be the best place for me to help.
Yeah, but you could have died.
Yeah. That's kind of part of it.
You want to die?
No, I don't want to, but that's part of the risk.
But doesn't that seem like a pretty big risk for something that probably doesn't really matter? I mean,
well, it matters to a lot of people.
Why are people fighting?
It's mostly over, it's like ways of life. If one side wins or if one side decides to give in, then that's a way of life that's going to be stomped out, right?
Yeah, but can't they just live their way and we live our way? And why does it matter? It's not like anybody's hurting anyone except to try and force them to think their way.
Well, that's kind of why I'm fighting, and that's why I believe in our cause, is because Kaldur is trying to, come over and force us to think and to pray one way, and we're sort of trying to keep them from doing that. And the only way to keep them from doing that is to fight back and try and stop them. They're not gonna stop.
So
just keep coming.
Not
so
trying
now
to force them to think their way?
Well, we wouldn't have to if they didn't start this. Now we're at the point where we have to go and stop them at whatever cost.
I don't know. It seems like a lot of fighting for no real reason except over people and land and power.
Well, that's very important to a lot of people.
Yeah, but the people it's important to aren't fighting. You are.
Yeah, because I believe in what causes we stand for.
But the people who have the power, where are they? They're not risking their lives. You're cannon fodder. Literally.
Well, that's part of the risk that we sign up for, is that we are part of a larger thing that's happening here.
Have you been charmed? And I'm gonna tap his head.
Ow, please don't do that. I haven't.
I don't know, Orn.
I just came to protect my family.
But couldn't you protect them better if you were with them?
Well, if I was back there, then if everyone thought that way, then everyone would be at home and Kaldur would have won already.
Maybe it wouldn't be so bad if they won, if people stopped dying.
Well, then we would have to do things their way. And we've seen what that looks like within Kaldur is, it's not what it's a way of life that we want to continue having.
I don't know, it seems like a lot of death. But if that's what you want to do, I guess that's fine. You could just keep killing people and they could keep killing you and endlessly over and over and over again with no real end in sight. That's fine.
If that's how you want to see it, then that's how you choose to see it. I appreciate you helping me out. But this is the cause that I'm fighting for.
Yeah.
And what I've chosen.
Well, try to stay alive. Maybe don't get trapped under any other burning buildings.
I will try my best.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you should be fine now, I guess. But you'd be better off going home.
All right, we'll see. Hey, Jarnan, I think can we get going? And he sort of waves over to Jarnan, and Jarnan runs over with a stretcher and begins loading him up on the stretcher.
Bye, Orn.
Bye, Oma.
I would like to sort of hang close as I can to Vash to sort of hear what's going on with the prisoners.
Okay. From what you hear over the course of a couple minutes, and you don't even have to be very close to Vash as he is very loud, you can tell that they're going to hold the prisoners at Coldcrest for the time being until whatever remains of the soldiers come back from the north, as well as some soldiers that are coming up north from Canyon Fort to escort them back down to Canyon Fort for more secure holding.
Okay. Do any of them, the prisoners, do they have any tattoos that I can see?
Make a perception check. Or you can make if I think I know where you're going with this, you can make a religion check if you'd like.
11.
11? Some of them have very generic dwarven tattoos, dwarven runes, but you don't see anything that really stands out as out of the ordinary.
I'll just survey the scene, look out to where the building was burnt, and just I hope you know what you're doing. And I will try to reconvene with the gang.
Okay.
Kalik, why were you here with these people?
I was sent here, Alma. I work as a practitioner of medical arts, and I was sent here to help, keep people alive.
But none of this makes any sense. I just don't understand why they can't live on their own sides.
I wouldn't chew on it too hard, Alma. It's a bitter taste. There's things going on here beyond either of our ability to perceive and probably understand. So we just have to make the best of it, right? As little harm as possible and as much goodwill.
we go? I don't like it here.
I hate it here, Alma. We can absolutely go. Good job, by the way, spotting that man in the rubble.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. He's gonna just die anyway, so what's the point?
I know what you mean, Alma. You know, sometimes you help people and they turn things around. Sometimes they don't. But it's not up to us to decide who gets that chance. You did the right thing, Alma.
Yeah. I shrug.
I'll take her by the hand and sort of like give her a pat on the wrist in a ginger, tender way, and just like walk with her back toward where our boat is parked.
I'm just gonna take in the sea and the river and all the pieces of wood that are just sitting, probably littering the bank and the beach. And just like shake my head. Stupid. And I'm gonna just walk with Kellic, hopefully back to our boat.
I will just
Okay.
hum softly.
All right. So you all approach your boat that you had beached, and as you guys hop on, the river once again takes you down through this little side channel that you guys had left it on, and now it leads you out to the main river.
Really
as you
quick,
guys,
sorry,
Yeah.
before, could I have scoured the battlefield for wreckage, pieces of cannonball, shattered cannonball, pieces of the boat, maybe? See if I can like gather a piece or two.
there are like large chunks of wood that are coming to shore.
Mhm.
Any pieces of cannonball, any cannonballs, anything of the cannons immediately sank to the bottom of the river.
Are there any cannons that had hit the beach and had shattered or splintered that I could maybe salvage some of that?
There's like you can see from the explosion, there are a couple of like fist-sized chunks of this cast iron that the cannons are made out of. You can grab those if you like.
Sure.
But yeah, nothing bigger than like a hand size.
Sure. I'll pick the pieces of cannonball up. I'll pick up some of the wood. And then could I do a once-over for maybe like a piece of wood that has splintered cannonball in it? Like an actual
Sure. Yeah.
walk around?
Yeah. Make an investigation check.
Sure. Something that kind of like combines both of them. All right. Investigation. 22, natural 20.
Nice. Yeah, you see there is like a little chunk of wood that's got like some splintered iron in it that you'd be able to take.
Sure. I'll pick it up. Careful not to stab myself. Think about it for a second. Looks cool. I'll pull open my souvenir bag and chuck it in there and throw it back on my shoulder. I'll chuck in the handful of cannonball and the wood as well, but I'll put it all in my souvenir bag.
Okay.
And then oh crap, they're running. And then I catch up to the group as I see them going towards the boat.
All right. So yeah, you guys are all aboard the boat. You guys are now crossing the main section of this river. And as you guys hit the other side of the river, you guys see like a very similar sort of layout where there's beach for a little bit, and then a very steep cliff face with a couple of paths going up, and then rolling green hills on top. So as you guys hit the beach on the other side, is there anything that you guys would like to specifically do before you start heading south towards Blackpool?
Would we have an opportunity, would I be able to have an opportunity to nap or specifically get a short rest in during this time?
Yeah, you guys can definitely try for that. The beach over here is definitely quiet. You can still sort of see off in the distance the remains of the battle that just took place on the other side of the river. But over here seems pretty calm. You are covered by this cliff face here to the west. So, yeah, you guys could definitely do that.
I would like to just attempt to get a short rest in.
Cool. So everyone can mark down a short rest. If that affects anything for you, you guys can roll your hit dice if you would like.
Hey, Flynn.
Yeah?
What makes you think that you blew up the right enemy?
Well, from what I've grown up, I grew up in this side of the war. They're trying to force people to do stuff, regardless of what they think. And I don't know if I have all the right answers. But, well, I kind of just made a decision. And you just got to go with it. I know Jarnan, I know Kellic, and they're my friends. I know I don't know them for that long, but if this is the side they're fighting for, and this is the side that I know more.
Kellic said he didn't have a side.
I think he does.
Isn't there a world in which they feel like you're forcing them to believe your way? Isn't there a world where both sides feel the same way?
Possible.
And that they have a Flynn over there, and their Flynn also goes on suicide missions, and also thinks that he's doing the right thing, and he has a family?
Yeah, that's probable. But in the moment, I felt like I was making the right decision to save the people that I cared about in that moment.
Well, how do you feel now?
Jarnan's still alive. The person that you saved is still alive. The rest of the Ondale soldiers are still alive, and I think we had an input in that.
But how do you feel about the people who aren't alive?
The enemy?
The people who aren't alive?
They were attacking us.
They weren't attacking you
They
until
were attacking
you
my
went there.
friends. Again, I don't know if it's the right way. It's just how I thought about it in the moment.
I just feel like there's all this fighting because of deciding where you live.
Well, from my understanding, we're not trying to force beliefs on anyone.
Do you believe in God? In a God?
I mean, I've seen what Kellic can do. There's got to be something up there.
But do you believe?
Sure.
I just feel like all these people are fighting because they think they have a home, and their home just happens to be on one side that happens to believe one way. But if they were on the other side, they would think the same thing. So it's just all this stupid fighting for no reason. And I don't know why we get involved. It has nothing to do with us. It has nothing to do with me. And I don't want to be part of something that blows people up for no reason.
Well, Again, the reason I went there was because I knew someone there. Even though I only knew him for a little bit, he still felt like someone that I cared about. And I know you probably don't care about Jarnan, but I did. And I wanted to help him.
Well, Flynn, if someone was trying to hurt you, I would try to help you. But that's different.
I also knew that outpost had a lot of wounded people. And I also wanted to protect them as well. They're the people that were protecting our side, Addersfeld, my hometown, everywhere that I grew up and everywhere that I visited. So I feel like I also owed it to them because they're giving their lives to protect us. And maybe what we do is we learn more about it. The next time we're in a town, we can ask questions, get more insight, make a proper decision. But sometimes you just gotta go with your gut.
I don't like your gut.
Not a lot of people do.
I've taken the bag of ashes from the burned out building out, and I've just like put some of it in my hands, and I've just kind of like been fooling with it in my palm.
Look over. Do I see him doing this, or are you hiding it?
I'm not hiding it.
Is that the ash that I got you?
Yes, Flynn.
How does that work?
What?
The stuff you do with the ash, like I have my own way to do magic, but it's different from what you do. How?
Just letting it pour out of my closed fist into my other palm. It just comes to me. I can see things in the air, and I can touch them and move them. And I can ask for help in a language that I don't really understand.
Yeah, maybe our magics aren't too different.
Yeah, maybe not.
Almost on the other hand, I have no idea how that works. I look over at Homa, kind of like, give her a nod.
Yeah, I don't know. I was learning for a little bit, but then that stopped, so I don't know.
Well, maybe that's something else we can look into, too.
Well, then
Yeah, maybe if we could stop blowing people up, then we'd have time.
Okay, Homa.
It is worth considering, and I'll address the rest of the group, turning. How much we're willing to engage with this war. I know it's not your war, Shreya, and for the rest of us, it's... Well, Flynn joined the Ironlight Collective, not the army. March and Olma, you're fugitives of Hollowguard. And myself, I'm just very confused. We did something today that will change the course of this war. Maybe. You know, who knows? Maybe tomorrow Kaldur strikes again and takes Coldcrest. If we continue to jump in and use the considerable power that we have between us, we could have a large impact on how things pan out.
Well, I don't think I didn't join the army. But, I mean, Vash did say something that kind of rung
true. That if they take that outpost, then they can take Addersfeld. And I have friends that I've known for a while in Addersfeld. And if I don't stop the enemy from attacking my friends and they die, I don't know how I would be able to deal with myself. But that doesn't mean that I want to jump into every conflict with them. Maybe I need to think about it.
I don't want to be a soldier.
That's fair.
I mean, Flynn, you say your home is there, and I get that, but I don't know where my home is, so how do I know which side to fight for if I don't know where my home is?
Right.
I myself have never had goodwill toward those of the dwarven race. But since I was a very young, tiny, probably fit in the palm of one of your hands, the dwarves have done nothing but mutilate the mountainsides of my ancestral home. I acted perhaps a little rashly, and only considered my associations with my past and how I took action against them. However, I understand that more often than not, there are other purposes at play. And people who were raised differently can fight for any cause they believe in. Perhaps that's something we can consider before we jump into the fray the next time.
I'm going to have been lying on the beach, sort of resting my eyes. And I'm going to just say, I do agree and disagree on both sides. I was once a soldier before, or rather, in that area. I didn't care for it. I don't appreciate the politics involved. But if there are people that someone has met or known that need to be helped, then if it's the right thing to do, then you got to do the right thing to do. I mean, what Flynn did today was, obviously it was very brave in that sense. And in the moment, it seemed the right thing to do. Am I stoked on it? No. But in order to save the outpost that helped save Olna and myself, I felt that it was, in that moment, it made sense.
Jarnan and I
Maybe we
brought you back to consciousness. I don't think it's worth conflating your survival with that place, with that cursed place.
And why is it cursed then, Caleb?
You've seen it.
It's a place for the wounded and dying. Just because wounded and dying, they're not, that doesn't make them cursed.
You know what they do with the bodies there, March? They burn them in an enormous pit. Reeks.
And you would prefer solo one-on-one burials?
Yes. I would prefer that they be given their due diligence and that their souls were given a chance to ascend to the heavens. But instead, it'd be better off that your corporeal form were obliterated by a cannonball than what they do in that pit. But that's besides...
I would have to say that I do respect and understand that. I do agree that everyone should get their own individual burial. I understand your frustrations, and you were there for far longer. Olma and I were there for all of an hour, or whatever it may have been. But at that moment, it made sense.
Here's how I see things. The war is happening, and we can't stop that. We can't make Kaldur and Andel again, Baldir, agree on anything. But my goal remains save as much life as possible. And I'm not a military tactician. It's not my skill set or my interest. But I suspect... I don't know. I don't have any logical reason to. It's just a feeling. I suspect Kaldur will win this war. And the choice is ours, the choice is Andale's. How bloody that victory will be. So...
Change doesn't have to be scary.
It's almost always scary, Alma. But sometimes it's good. Oh, I'm uncertain what change is about to take place.
Well, maybe we just focus on what we have to do.
Aye.
We find out who was trying to plan this prison break and why, and we try to recapture the souls, and odds are it's gonna tie back into this whole war anyway. So, I mean, just keep our eyes and ears open.
What seems readily apparent is that the denizens of these crystals are beyond
Bad.
help. Yeah. So, I'm fully on board with this pursuit. It's nice to have something that we can unerringly believe.
Yeah, they're in prison
is
for
right.
a reason, and
Right.
they're bad news.
They're bad news.
And I like knowing they're bad news. I don't want to fight any more people or Flynn, if you go into fight and you get hurt, I have to help you. And so when you make a choice to pick a side, it makes everyone pick a side. And I don't want to be against you, Flynn. So I just need you to take a breath and realize that we don't have to be part of every conflict. So just next time, I mean, I'm not going to shame you because, you did what you thought was right. And you did help some people while killing a bunch of other people. But I just don't want to be part of that. So just respect that choice, that I don't want to have to help you fight.
I'll walk over, or I don't know, if I'm sitting next to her, I'll put my hand on her shoulder, give her a pat, look her in the eyes, and all right, I'll promise to think about it.
Okay. Maybe we can do a vote next time. I wanted to go the other direction on the boat and not even bother. So maybe next time we do a vote. Because my say should matter just as much as your say, even though I'm little.
I look up at her. I feel that. And I agree. From now on, we vote.
Okay.
Everyone okay with that?
Agreed.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure, let's vote.
All right, and with that, you guys complete your short rest, get whatever effects that gives you, and you guys get on your way. You notice on this side of the beach, just like on the other side, every once in a while there are these little paths up the cliffside in order for you to get up on top and move forward, continuing your journey. So you guys take one of those paths up, you guys get to the top of the cliff, and you guys move on towards Blackpool. You guys head south. So as you guys are traveling south, the landscape is very similar to what you guys had seen on the other side. Lots of rolling hills, but eventually it sort of shifts and changes a little bit. These rolling hills start to sprout more and more trees, and they become more like wetlands, and they morph into more of like this marshland. And eventually you guys get on into full-on swamp. As you guys are trudging through, you guys begin to walk through ankle-deep water, and then pretty soon it gets to knee-deep water, and your guys' speed is slowed pretty considerably as you guys are walking through this. As it took you guys about a couple hours to get from Addersfeld to Coldcrest, and then the battle ensued, it is taking you another couple hours to now walk down to Blackpool. And as you guys are walking through this swamp, you guys look up at the sun, and it is just beginning to crest down over the horizon. You have maybe 2 more hours of sunlight before the sun completely goes down.
We didn't take the boat. I'm guessing there wasn't a pathway to steer the boat to this place.
No. So
Okay.
you guys are traveling south. The river flows north out to the ocean to the north.
Got it.
So you would have had to beach your boat there.
Okay.
So as you guys are moving on, it's about an hour until sunset when you guys are completely surrounded by all of these trees. You can barely even see the sun anymore. The little light that is coming through is casting these long shadows and making the light warp in some really weird ways. But after a little while of travel, sort of wading through this knee-deep water, you guys eventually come across a pathway, a series of wooden planks that are being held about 6 inches above the water, that you guys are able to climb up on top of. This is just a singular path south in pretty much the same direction that you guys are going. And as you guys hop up on top, you guys notice that this wood is creaky, and every once in a while, one of these wooden planks has completely fallen out due to like mildew and rot taking these things. But you guys do continue to take the path south. And after another about hour and a half, a little bit after the sun has gone down, fog begins to roll in, and sort of this mysterious air begins to surround you guys as this swamp just begins to absorb all light around you. And you guys hear the sounds of nighttime in this swamp. You guys hear crickets. You guys hear frogs every once in a while. Every once in a while, you'll hear a splash in the water off to your left or your right. But by the time you look over and see what it was, it's just the water that's rippling. You can't quite see what it is. The smell that is now filling your nostrils is this damp smell of like different decaying plants and animals, and it's a pretty rank smell. But after that traveling time, just off in the distance down this wooden path, you guys catch just a very slight glow, seemingly to be a lantern. As you guys move forward even more, you guys pick up another lantern light and another lantern light and another lantern light, and you guys can see through the fog. You can just see the silhouettes, the very dull silhouettes of what appears to be a swamp town. You guys are now approaching Blackpool. So, as you guys see Blackpool and the buildings all held aloft, anywhere from 6 inches to a couple feet up off of the water, you guys notice several buildings. This isn't a huge town, but it's pretty decent size. You guys see a couple dozen of these buildings. You guys aren't officially in town yet, but as you guys see this, what would you guys like to do?
I think on our walk there, you were saying a lot of spooky stuff. So I would like to look out left and right into this darkness, into the fog, and I would like to make a spooky vibes check because it's looking spooky.
That was a lot of spooky
It does
stuff.
look spooky. You are correct. So I will have you make a spooky vibes check.
Let's do it. What do I add again?
That is just your wisdom modifier.
Okay. What's wisdom modifier? 11. 11 for my spooky vibe.
11. As you're looking out, definitely some spooky vibes, but you aren't really picking up anything like supernatural spooky vibes. Nothing necessarily magical about these spooky vibes, but just like general sort of like the fog is rolling in on the swamp and you've got a mysterious town on the horizon.
I will pick up my pace a little bit as I'm getting spooked out.
Okay.
Guys, we should hurry up. It's creepy out here. And I'll head on.
Okay. Would any of you guys like to do anything before you actually enter town?
Blackpool's in Kaldur, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
We've crossed the border. Yeah.
It is, Blackpool is actually the, probably the easternmost establishment in Kaldur. It is
it's like a border town.
Pretty close to the border. Yeah.
I guess two things. Would I know / can I tell from looking, like what kind of state Blackpool is in terms of like being embattled? You know, like do they have fortifications built, or did I hear word while I was at Cold Crest about like the state of Blackpool and whether or not they were like militarized?
Yeah. So you do know, just because Blackpool is like the closest town to Cold Crest, you would sort of have a general idea of what's going on there. You would know that because of its position, like in the middle of this marshland and this like impenetrable swamp, it is almost completely demilitarized. It's so difficult to bring troops in as well as to move troops from that position just because of the environment. It's also not a very strategically placed spot, so
there's
the army
no
of Ondale
to like taking it.
The
like
army
Delaware.
of Ondale wouldn't want to take it as well. So yeah, it's you probably know that you wouldn't come across any heavy military force.
From when I was there the first time, do I know if it's mostly dwarves that take up this city?
Yeah, you know it's mostly dwarven. There are a couple of other, you have seen like a smattering of other races, but just because Kaldur is mostly dwarven, it is a heavy dwarf population.
Sore thumbs.
The less amount of time we can spend here, the better.
We might want to have a reason we're here in case we get asked.
Yeah, that's...
Seems how Flynn did just sink a ship full of
and
maybe-
I just don't want them to think
You
that
know.
we're part of the military, so...
It's not like there's a lot of cross traffic either through this area, so that's worth...
So maybe just look more like adventurers if possible. Like if you've got, like Marge, maybe you should cover up any of your armor and shields and stuff. Maybe put everything away.
Mhm. I will try to as much as I can. DM, what is, this could sound weird, what is the weather? What is it hot,
pretty humid.
muggy?
It's not like blisteringly hot, but it is like just on that brink of uncomfortable.
Okay. Then what I will do is I will take off the jacket I have and sort of try and throw it over what weapons I can't exactly quote unquote store, just to sort of just make it look like it's just a pack of shenanigans.
There are those from my ilk who travel and seek to give aid wherever it's needed. So I could say that if we get any kind of stink eye.
Okay.
You know, that we're just trying to provide help where it's needed and just passing through.
Okay.
I like that idea.
This town is likely not beleaguered by the war, so hopefully it's not first and foremost on their minds as we pass.
All right. So you guys enter this town, and you guys can see all of these sort of rickety buildings off to your left and right, nothing more than 2 stories, as everything here seems to mostly be made out of wood. And the floorboards that you guys walk on, every single one of them creaks as you walk by. And as you look around, you start noticing the people of this town walking back and forth. Most of them dwarves. You guys can see one tiefling walks from one building to another. You guys see a pair of tabaxi as well walking in between a couple of the buildings. Kalik, you see a couple of drow actually sitting outside of one of these buildings, seemingly having a meal to themselves. And it seems like sort of a myriad of different races here, but again, mostly dwarves, sort of mingling and moving about. As you guys move through the section of the city that you guys are in, or this town, it's not really a city, you guys look and you can see off sort of in the distance. It's hard to see with all the fog that's rolled in, but you can see a larger group of people moving around this area. As you guys approach even further, you walk past the town center, and in this town center you see a stone statue of a large throne. It's probably about 10 feet tall, of this large throne, and a dwarf sitting on the throne, and at his side he's holding a large spear right next to him, sort of taking a regal sitting position on this stone statue there. So that's sort of the statue in the main center of town. As you guys move closer to this group of people, Olma and March, you guys immediately recognize this area. But the building that you had recognized that was there is completely gone. And you can see there are people there who are sort of rummaging through what's left of the completely collapsed and burned down building. So, seeing that, what would you guys like to do?
So I've got some good news and some bad news. Which one would you like first?
Bad news.
Well, I already know the news, so...
Give us
Gentlemen?
the bad, Alma.
Bad news is... this used to be the warehouse where we found everything. Good news... nobody else can get to it?
I'm gonna look. Is there any trace of what was here before?
I'm going to have you make an insight check.
Man, oh man.
Also, from what I can tell, does this look like the damage that could have possibly been happened from me, or does it look like there might have been something else that caused this?
Make an Arcana check.
That's an 8 for the insight.
8.
Yeah.
You see people sort of rummaging through the debris, but you can't really pick up anything of what once was there.
19 for Arcana.
Nice.
Arcana. From what you felt that you released, it was probably big enough to catch this thing completely on fire.
Okay.
And burn it down. Probably mostly you.
Good. Solid. Do I get the impression that if I start to pick through things, people are gonna look at me weird?
Looking at the people there, it doesn't seem like there's any official order to this. It just seems like random people picking through what they can.
I want to casually look through the area to see if I can find any portions of the cage that I saw.
Okay, make an investigation check.
Can I aid her on that?
Yeah. So you can take that at advantage, or you can both roll.
I already rolled twice.
Okay.
Just to be honest.
Yeah.
That's a 14.
14, you're looking through this rubble, and you actually, after sort of turning over a couple pieces of wood, you notice a couple of like iron rod bars that have sort of been broken apart and bent and sort of melted into sort of strange shapes. it looks very similar to what you had seen.
Do I see anything that implies that the thing that was inside got out?
Just around where you are finding these bars, you do see a couple feathers. You don't see any signs of a body or anything like that, but just a couple feathers.
I want to collect the feathers.
Okay.
I'll help collect the feathers.
Okay. There's only about 6 or 7. Yeah, it's not like a huge pile. It's just a few.
Well, while those two are digging through the rubble, I'll just kind of lean up against a wall, so I can kind of get a good look at the whole area. And I just want to see if anyone's taking a look at Alma, taking a look at March, noticing them, anything like that. Maybe see if I can spot anyone that's looking at them a little long.
Okay. Yeah. Make a perception check.
Not too good. Not too good. That is a 9 total.
A 9?
Mm-hmm.
You don't see anyone who's like fixated on Olma in particular. You do see sort of in the building that's sort of next to where you're leaning up against, you see an old dwarven man who is sort of leaned up in a very similar fashion to the way that you are, looking over the people picking through the rubble.
Does he look to have like guard attire on or anything that I would know?
He looks to have just normal, no armor or anything like that, just sort of this sort of a very plain shirt, and then some just sort of like cloth pants.
How far away is this dwarf?
Probably like 15 feet. He's standing in the doorway of the building right next to you.
I'll look to Shreya and March, who I'm assuming are kind of standing here with me. And let's kind of give him a nod and be like, I'm gonna go talk to this dwarf over here. Keep an eye on Olma, okay?
While he does that, I'm going to kind of having the same mindset that Olma and Flynn. I'm just going to very as slowly and kind of like non-obviously, discreetly as I can, sort of take my hair and just take it and put it in the back and sort of put it so that my shirt goes over it, so it's hiding my hair as much as possible, just in case kind of thing. And then I will continue to sort of observe Olma looking through some stuff with Kalik while trying to keep Flynn out of the corner of my eye.
I'm going to call her over.
I'm going to give a last look sort of over to Flynn as he's walking over, then approach Olma.
I don't know where you were when you found the box with the crystal. Where did you find it?
It's all still sort of hazy, but feels like it all happened at the same time. But I feel like it was around the corner from here. I hate it when buildings burn out because you try and get your bearings as to where you actually are. Trying to figure out where the entrance was. Do you remember where we sort of approached, or where there was a door at one point?
I don't know, but I mean, this is where I was when I found the cage. But do you remember any other distinct markings? Maybe you can look for something you saw nearby.
It was a box. It was.
Was there anything around the box?
This.
I found this because of bars. You know, I just looked for bars. So maybe look for pieces of something nearby. Yeah. Was there a statue? Was there anything that was breakable that might have left markings nearby?
I can't recall, Alma. I'm sorry. I was so fixated on what I was being told to look at, and once I saw the box, it was like I was just
for the box,
staring at it.
Because the crystal got embedded in you and embedded in everyone around you, but maybe look for the box.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to very hesitantly not... Perhaps it's obvious to maybe Olma, but it's going to be obvious that I'm a little hesitantly to wanting to actually sift through things. But I will kind of veer off to an area that where I vaguely believe I might have been about.
Okay. Make an investigation check for me.
Okie dokie. Don't you love it when it tips over? It was on something good and then it tipped over. That was a 6.
6. It's a bunch of wooden pieces. It's really tough. It's like, you're really looking for a needle in a haystack. You're looking for a specific piece of hay in a haystack. It's like you're looking for a wood box and a bunch of wooden rubble. So it's very tough to see.
Can you describe what it looked like to me, March?
It was just a wooden box.
Did it have any engravings on it? Was there a color?
Not that I recall, but I do recall it perhaps had like a pattern on the top of it. I don't see how a wooden box would survive something like this.
You did see, just as a quick note, March, you did see when the box opened, the crystal was sort of placed on this small purple piece of cloth, almost like a pillow or a padding within the box.
Okay. Look for something. This is going to sound weird, Alma. I know
I mean, we're looking for a crystal. We're looking for a broken crystal in a burned down warehouse. It can't get much weirder than we are, so it's fine.
Look for perhaps a small purplish pillow, or maybe like a cloth, almost like it was torn from something.
Okay, I can look for something purple. Kelly. Hey,
yeah,
Kelly,
let's
can you help me find a piece of purple fabric?
I'm just like haphazardly holding one of these pieces of wood, just observing it. Yeah, of course, Alma. Tell me what to look for. This is a mess.
I don't know, a box and some purple stuff around it?
Okay.
Fabric or a pillow or something.
If I look around, DM, is there anything with a badger emblem on it? Or even on nearby buildings or anything like that?
Looking around, you don't see any badger emblems. Anything that would have been inlaid in the wood, you can see would have been completely burned away.
Blasted, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So as you guys are searching through that, we're actually going to go back over to Flynn. Flynn, as you're sort of perched up.
And right before he walks up to the dwarf, I'm going to say,
Help yourself, little one. You're on your own.
Let's keep an eye on the others.
Gladly.
I'll give him a little pat on the calf, because that's probably as high as I can reach. I'll walk over to the dwarf. Is the dwarf watching my friends, or just in general, just kind of looking around the area?
Looking around the area, but he takes note of you as you walk up.
How you doing? You say in Dwarvish?
You say in Dwarvish?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. He responds back in Dwarvish, and he says,
You are all a little late, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, well, we kind of just showed up, and I'm following a healer, a traveling healer, and kind of just his bodyguard. But I noticed this building destroyed, and I'm curious how it happened.
And as you ask him that, he sort of steps out from the doorway, and you can see him now fully, just very plain clothes, all like different tans and browns. You can see his long white hair has been all tied back in sort of this ponytail with like a dwarvish golden ring holding all of his hair back. You can see his white beard is very like almost coming down to his stomach, but very well groomed, and it's got several pieces of golden jewelry throughout, sort of keeping all of the hair in line. And you can tell he keeps takes care of himself. And he says,
Well, I was here when the accident happened, so I can tell you all you might want to know.
Well, I mean, yeah. I'm curious. It's a destroyed building, and it seems like something crazy happened. Yeah, start from the beginning.
Well, the other day, probably about, say, a week ago, there was a large explosion from within the building. I'm not quite sure what caused it, but the entire building was pretty soon taken down. There were probably a few people inside, as I saw a couple people leaving the building. It was late at night, and I had just woken up from the explosion, so I couldn't quite see who it was, but I did see 4 figures leave the building. 2 of them left first, and then after a few minutes, another 2 left. And then after that, everyone seemed to have woken up in the town, and then the looting commenced. There were known to be some valuables within there. This is a halfway point, you could say, for the Banuk tribe, and they keep a lot of valuables that they trade within there. So many people got their hands on a lot of what was held there. But after that, some members of the tribe came through and collected most of what was taken.
Wow, that's crazy that happened. You're okay? What was your name again?
My name is Dolmen Oakfoot.
Dolmen Oakfoot. I'm Flynn Fellowleaf.
Dolmen Oakfoot.
Hello, Flynn.
Nice to meet you. I'm part of the Ironlight Collective. Oh. Well, I'm part of the Ironlight Collective.
And he sort of looks you up and down, and he says,
Believe it or not, I actually already knew that.
Oh, right. And I kind of like pull my green cloak up a little bit. Where you said
the Banuk tribe.
Do you know where they are? Do they live in?
They are a group of traders. They trade in minerals and gems and spices and clothes and textiles and pretty much anything you could ask for. And they operate mostly in the Summerstill Mountains, but they have known to trade over the border with Kaldur quite frequently.
And do they have a residence here in Blackpool?
Not anymore.
Oh, it's coming together now. Well, okay. Summerstill Mountains is where they reside. How far away is that from here?
Oh, it's east quite a few miles. It is the mountain range that spans from the top of Ondale all the way almost down to the bottom of Ganboldir.
Well, interesting. And what do you do in town?
Oh, I just I'm sort of a fortune teller. I can sort of read people and sort of gain some insight of who they are and help them figure out problems. I sort of put the puzzle pieces together for them. They come in with their problems or their questions, and I take all of that information and I sort of make sense of it all and tell them the possibilities that could happen to them in the future.
Flynn's eyes go wide and like go with excitement. Can you do that now?
I would have to spend a couple of minutes with you, but yes, if you would like.
Is this your? Do we do it? Is this your? And I point to the building that he's been kind of leaning up in. Is this your place? Is this where you do the fortune tellings?
Yes, right here.
I'll look back to Shreya and I'll give him like a thumbs up. And then I'll be like, can we go in and do it now?
Sure. Are your friends okay with...
they're fine.
Okay, then come on in.
After I give the thumbs up to Shreya, I enter the building.
I just sort of sharply sigh, like,
all right.
Okay, so you walk in.
Sure.
And sort of with sort of inquisitive mind, you walk in and you can see that there are like lining the walls. There's sort of like all of these runes that have been written on the walls themselves. And they look to be hand painted. And as he walks you through the house, it is more of a house than a shop, but he walks you through sort of the living area and into a back room. And in the middle of that room is just 2 chairs facing each other. That is it. Just 2 very simple wooden chairs.
Cool. I'll kind of take his lead and sit in whichever one he wants me to sit in. If that's the plan, I'll kind of look to him for guidance.
This is all about you and your destiny. So whichever chair you feel is calling towards you, then that's the one that you should take.
Which chair is calling to me, DM? Do you want me to roll?
Can I make a
Left
chair?
or right?
I'm gonna go to the left one.
Okay. As you go and you sit down in the left chair,
Mm-hmm.
You sit down in the chair, and he says,
Well, that's interesting. Could you stand up for one moment?
Yeah, sure. And I'll stand up.
Do me a favor and turn the chair over.
Okay. I'll turn it upside down or spin it around, whichever one you want.
just flip it upside down.
I'll flip her upside down.
And there is a little piece of parchment stuck to the underside of the chair.
I'll look at him with like an acceptance, and I'll like reach down and like look like I'm going for the paper to see if that's what he wants me to do.
And he goes,
Oh, how did that get there?
Weird. And I'll pick it up and I'll look at it. I'll take it off the chair and I'll look at it.
okay. You open up this piece of parchment, and on that piece of parchment, you see a very familiar symbol. You look at this piece of parchment, and then you hold out your wrist, and you see on your wrist where that black tattoo is.
Mm-hmm.
It's the exact same symbol on that piece of parchment.
Isn't that my name?
That is your name.
What?
How?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how that got there.
I'll stuff it in my pocket. Weird.
And he sort of, as he comes over and he sits down, he sort of gives you a wink.
Are you ready to get started?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
Would you believe me if I told you that I had written that down on a piece of paper about 2 months ago?
What? No way.
Oh, yes.
You must be really good at this.
I am the best.
Well, I'm glad I found you. I'd love to have some answers to what's going on in my life, because, oh boy, it's been a heck of a week.
I know you've had quite a busy week.
I'm sure you know. Yeah, I'll flip the chair over and I'll sit down even more excited now that I've seen this crazy amount of power shown, and I'll sit down and get like super excited, throw my bag off to the corner of the room, not even looking where it lands, and I'm just like, all right, tell me everything.
Well, this is more of a conversation, more of a transaction between the two of us. What would you like to know?
Oh boy. I guess I can start with my parents. How are they doing? Are they okay?
Ah, yes, your parents. Nora and Baudry, if I'm not mistaken.
What? Yeah, how do you know their names?
I know a lot of people.
This is awesome. Yeah, how are they?
Well, I could not tell you exactly how they are. I believe they're still over in Maple Glen, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's where I'm from.
Oh, how has the store been doing?
I mean, when I left, it was fine.
Oh, that's so good to hear.
Yeah, my dad, he keeps that place up and up, and he keeps it tidy.
And, you know, my mom's always doing the running around and delivering stuff to different magic shops. But yeah, he was, they were doing well. You know, they wanted me to stay, obviously, but I didn't want to work in a magic shop. You know, I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to be an adventurer.
That was not your destiny, was it?
No, it wasn't. But you know that.
I do. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I have 2 more. How's Kaylin doing? My friend from, well, I mean, you know she's from the Iron Light, but yeah. I didn't see her the last time I went to the castle, and I'm curious if she's doing okay.
I can see the concern in your eyes. I know that she is on her way back to the Iron Light right now.
Oh.
She actually, as we speak, is holding the head of a manticore and is on her way back to the Iron Light.
Man, that's so cool. Of course she is. She's so good at this. Man, I miss her. She's like... And of course, her mom's gonna be super proud about it. But, you know.
Oh, of course.
Well, that's good. I'm excited to see her again. Can't wait to give her a hug. It's been too long. I guess...
Not much longer.
Oh, really? Well, that's good. I guess the last thing, and it's kind of big, so if you can't, I understand. But, I mean, he's pretty powerful, so maybe you can. Am I gonna become a sentinel? Am I gonna make it?
Oh, Flynn, that I believe is beyond my powers to even see.
That's okay.
I can see that you're on the path, but your final outcome is yet to be determined. I cannot quite see all of the pieces in that puzzle.
That's fair. I still have a long way to go. Well, thank you. Even though, you know, still have a long way to go, I think this helped. And it's good to hear that people I know are doing okay.
I know that brings a lot of comfort to most people.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go check up with my friends, see if they found anything. Not that they're looking for anything or anything, but, you know, just, you know.
Oh, of course they're not looking for anything.
And he gives you another wink.
Do you know... Nah, never mind. All right. Well, I'll see you around.
I do know. I shouldn't say, but I do. I do know. You should check at the tavern down the street.
Okay. And I'll run out. Or I'll go to grab my bag and head out.
It was good to see your face again, Flynn Fellowweave.
And he gives you a sort of pat on the shoulder as you are heading out. And with that pat, there's a little spark of this, like, pure white energy that emanates from his fingers as he gives you a pat on the way out.
Do I know this person? What is going on? Okay. And I head out.
You, as he pats you on the back and this spark of white energy touches your back, you have advantage on any intelligence checks for the next week.
What?
Any check that has to do with intelligence for the next week, you have advantage on.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
How many sessions of D&D is there?
Sessions.
Give him a smile
That's
and a nod. And be like, man, that feels good. Well, I'll see ya. Not really knowing what it does yet, but I do.
And I'll head out to the group, and I'll head back to Shreya. And I'll just walk out.
All right. Any investigation checks go to you, my friend.
It seems to be the case now, yeah. Tavern down the street, okay.
And then if you could just keep track of that individually, of the number of days, I would very much appreciate that. I'll try and keep track of it too, but that would be a big help.
You got it.
Nice.
Did I find anything purple?
In the rubble, you did not.
Okay.
I'm gonna just look at Elmore real quick and go, it might be impossible to find. It was so... think of a jewelry box, Alma. No bigger than that. It's small.
I guess we're back to square one.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish, as much as, Air and Karen, all them are ridiculous, it's almost like I want to ask them more questions. But, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
What did they know? What did they know that perhaps we didn't know?
I mean,
But we
I don't
don't
think
know.
Kern knew anything, but Air might have.
Yeah. Kalik, any luck on your end? You seeing anything?
I don't really know what I'm looking for. So, no, just rubble. I mean, what are the chances that whatever we're looking for is still even here?
You're right. Well,
Do we have any leads on, whose building it was, whose chest it was?
We
Was
might
this
be
just a
able
storage
to-
space?
I don't know. Maybe we can find somewhere to rest for the night and talk it out. If we have to contact the Hollow Guard, we might have to.
Well, certainly this building was purchased from someone, and someone who lives here, right? Or
Yeah.
built, there would have to be some kind of paper trail.
Yeah.
So that's our best bet. Let's just see what the building, what the roots of the building are,
Mm-hmm.
and go from there.
Well, maybe someone at a tavern or at a inn might know who owned it.
Yeah.
Stands to reason, or it's worth checking.
I'm gonna walk over to Flynn and Shreya.
Hey, Oma.
Well, we can't find anything, so
Actually, I might have some information.
How? When?
Where'd you get it from?
Well, there was this really smart, really cool looking dwarf in that building over there.
Ah.
And, well, first I went over to talk to him because he was just like looking at the rubble, and he said he was here when the explosion happened. So I asked him like what happened, and he said that these people are traitors and that I think they own this building. And they said that some looters came to take some stuff, but the tribe also grabbed a bunch of stuff as well. And then he told me that he was a fortune teller.
Flynn! You met a fortune teller? Did you ask him about the crystals and who was trying to steal the crystals?
No! I should have done
Why
that.
not? What did you ask him? What could possibly have been more important than asking him who was trying to steal the crystals?
Well,
Where is he now?
he should be in the building.
No, what did you ask? What was
Well-
so important?
I mean, I asked to make sure my parents were still doing okay.
Flynn!
And then I asked if my best friend was doing okay.
Flynn!
And then I asked if I was going to become a sentinel.
Flynn!
But-
How could you?
But, Oma, he told me that there's something that we're seeking, and it's in the tavern down the street.
Well, maybe it's your parents since you're so eager to find them.
Oh, that'd be so
maybe that's
cool.
what he meant.
That'd be so cool.
I can't believe you were talking to a fortune teller and you didn't ask him about the crystals.
Well, you can go ask him. He's super nice.
That's not how fortune tellers work. Maybe they just want to talk
I
to
say
you.
under my breath to Kellic, I say,
It appears the short one is also short-sighted.
Well, if you don't want to talk to him, let's just go check out this tavern. I mean, we probably need to find a place to sleep anyway, but maybe that's where maybe that's where the crystals are. Don't we already have
We were
crystals?
talking about going toward the tavern anyway, Flynn. It's a fine thing. I will take a peek. Like, is the door open to this building, or what is the?
Yeah, the front door is wide open.
Can I see anybody inside?
Yeah, you could see a old dwarven man walking sort of back and forth, taking care of his house.
I went to peek in too. Like just under.
Right.
It's like my head is like 4 inches of under Kellic.
And I'm going to peek over and go, maybe we should go to that tavern. And then slither back.
Kellic,
Uh-huh.
you are you're looking in through the doorway, right?
Yeah.
So as you sort of like peer in, you can see the dwarven man pacing back and forth, but your eyes lose focus and everything else in the house is like fuzzy and blurred and out of focus. And pretty soon it all just seems like some garbled mess. Olma and March, you guys can see in just fine.
Cedo, Oculos. I'm gonna cast Eyes of the Grave. And draw ashes across my eyes. Does anything change?
Nothing changes.
As though not here in March, I'm gonna walk closer. I'm gonna walk in the door.
Okay. As you take a step in, your vision becomes even more blurred, and at this point, you can barely even see your hand in front of your face.
I'm gonna press forward.
You walk forward. You take a couple more steps forward, and with each step, your vision gets more and more blurred too. At this point, it seems like just a white and gray landscape, and you just hear beyond this fog. You hear a voice that says,
Kalek, I would appreciate you stepping out of my home.
And you feel this sort of shift in gravity as you're not walking, but your entire body is pushed out of this home into the doorway, and your feet like slide across the wooden floor as you are now standing outside on the porch once more.
What?
Can I still see him in there?
No, the inside is still completely blurred to your vision.
But can I see the dwarf or no? That's also been...
No, at this point, he is completely obscured as well. You can look back and forth, and you can see like the wood paneling on the outside of the home. You can see clearly, but as soon as you try and pierce that veil of the doorway, it's completely blurred.
Kalek, you should ask for permission before going into people's homes.
What in the devil is this place? Ostandi nobis. I light my bandage up on my arm, and I'll try to hold it to the fog, to the shroud.
Okay.
Does that have any effect?
You cast that spell, and you feel a gust of wind emanate from inside the house, and the arm that just lit up is completely extinguished, and you hear a booming voice from inside of the house, and it says,
"That magic has no place here."
Can the rest of us hear this at all or no?
Yes, you and Olma looking inside, you see the dwarven man standing there very calmly, hands behind his back, just looking out right at Kalek.
What kind of magic?
Kalek, what's going on?
I don't know. Who are you, old man? What is this?
Your welcome has been worn out.
And he snaps his fingers, and the door to the home
I'll have answers
shuts.
from you! And I'm trying to, stop the door with my reaction.
All right, make a strength check.
All right. It's 13.
13. The door slams in your face. And closes.
God damn it!
Guys, what's going on over there?
I've never seen a being so interested in getting in a
Kelly?
place he's not wanted.
What's going on? Did something happen?
I don't know, child. I don't know what this is. Does the door have any symbology that I can comprehend?
Nope, just looks like a wooden door.
I will. Damn, I have no recourse. I'm just banging on it with my closed fist.
Okay. The door does not budge whatsoever.
Kalek? It's okay. We can get your fortune told another time.
Don't want my bloody fortune, Alma. Want to know what the hell is this?
What do you
in the
mean?
hell is going on here?
What do you mean? It's just a building with a man in it.
I'll crouch down to Alma's height. Flynn asked me how I do my magic, Alma. I don't know. I don't understand it. I can just... I just see things and hear the words of a being. And I just
Did you hear
agreed
something?
to take part with the power it could give me.
So you don't know whose magic you have?
I have an idea.
Are you worried?
I'll compose myself. Stand up. No, I'm not worried. Keep your bloody fortune, then. You belong in this swamp. I'll saunter off.
Flynn, what way was that tavern? You were saying something about a tavern?
Yeah, he said it's, down the way. Down the street.
And I'll look down the street, like both ways, to see if I can spot a tavern that maybe he was talking about.
Yeah, you sort of look in the direction that he was pointing, and you see a pair of drow sitting out sort of on the front porch area having a meal, and you determine that that's probably the tavern he was pointing
Pointed
at.
out.
Yeah, looks like it's over there. Let's check it out.
Let's
Maybe
go
we
that
get
way,
like a
then.
beer.
Or
yeah.
12.
This statue in town, DM, can I... Does it look like Katir, or is it a different dwarf?
No, it is definitively not a tier.
Okay.
It looks like sort of a younger, more like warrior dwarf. Lots of like armor and stuff on him. Yeah, not the same as a tier.
Is it a new god? Presumably.
Kalik, no, you would know that this is definitively not a new god. Just the way that it's sort of set up in town and sort of in the middle, looks like maybe either a founder of the town or a
Local
conqueror, local legend, something of that sort. Yeah, nothing like worshipping, just sort of a statue of recognition.
I'll make my way to the tavern.
Okay.
You said there's the drow on the front porch of the tavern?
Yes.
Can I hear what they're talking about?
Yeah, they're just talking about how the two, like, they went fishing yesterday and they were sort of in a little competition, and they were like so shocked that neither of them had caught anything for the day, and then they're sort of like ribbing each other of like, yeah, well, yeah, you're terrible at this. Well, yeah, you're terrible at this. Like, of course you didn't catch anything. Seems very trivial.
I'll just kind of enjoy a moment of observing them as I pass.
Okay.
Where's he headed?
I think that's the tavern.
Ah! Tavern? Oh, could use something stiff to get my mind off this awful locale. I gotta start following him.
Okay.
I'll lean to
As you guys all,
I'll lean to Oma and be like, why is Shreya so upset?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe you should ask him.
I don't. Yeah, maybe. I'll head
Maybe
to
he's upset because you didn't ask the fortune teller anything about where we're going or what we're doing or how to help us.
maybe.
I mean, I can't imagine why he'd be upset about that, but like maybe that's why he's upset.
That could be it. And I'll kind of look down to the ground, kick a little pebble, and then start walking towards the tavern.
okay. As you guys all walk into the tavern, it opens up and you can see that the inside of the tavern is pretty cleared for the most part. There's a young dwarven couple sitting at a table off in the far corner, just sort of enjoying an intimate moment between them. And as you guys walk in, you see at the bar itself two hooded figures facing away from you. Look about humanoid size, about the same height as, let's say, Kellic. So definitely not dwarves. They're hooded and they're facing away from you, so you cannot see their faces, but you can see the owner of the bar is like a middle-aged dwarven woman who is talking to these two. And as you guys enter, she says, "For the last time, we don't know where all of your stuff went. We want nothing to do with the Hollow Guard here." And with that, we're going to end this week's session.
Oh, no.
We're going to call it right there. Yeah, so that's where we're going to call it. Thank you all so much for listening, and we can't wait to see you all again next week. Bye, nerds.
Bye, nerds.
Goodbye, nerds.
Bye, nerds.
Hey, nerds, it's Shane. I want to thank you so much for listening, sharing, and subscribing to the podcast. It really means the world to me. I really, really appreciate it. And we're excited to announce that we are partnering with D&D Beyond. Isn't that crazy? And giving away digital dice sets for you to use in your own campaigns and one-shots and adventures. And maybe if you just are having trouble deciding something, you can roll some digital dice. All you have to do to enter is head over to our giveaway link in our bio, which is dndbeyond.link/venture, which is super cool. And you can choose how you'd like to enter and how many times. Good luck. I hope the dice roll in your favor, and we'll see you next week. Bye, nerds.